welcome back to Champion the Passion, a weekly pro wrestling podcast where we inspire you to champion your passions and celebrate the joy in what you love. I'm your host. My name is Victoria Daisy, and today we're going to be recapping everything that happened last night on Monday Night Raw. It was a very crazy Raw, to say the least. But before we dive deep, don't forget to leave a 5-star review if you enjoyed. Follow me at It's Victoria Daisy across all social platforms and follow Champion the Passion across all streaming platforms. But let's get right into it. And before we get into the show, I do have to say something. I was on Monday Night Raw. I know. I was on Netflix. What? It was the most craziest experience ever. So I actually wasn't watching live. My cousin was over and, we were just, chit-chatting, catching up with her. And we weren't watching Monday Night Raw. We were going to watch it later. And then I open up my TikTok and all of a sudden I see a comment on one of my videos saying you were on Raw. And I panicked and I thought it was fake for a second. So then I go onto my Instagram and I start seeing people like flooding my comments saying you were on Raw. I just saw you on Raw. And it's like they knew that I wasn't watching because they alerted me. They were like, you need to go watch Raw right now. People were DMing me. People were like, my phone was blowing up and I was like, okay, if everyone is telling me this, then I guess I'm on Raw. So we went on my phone, didn't even put on the TV. I was just rushing. I went on my phone. I went onto Netflix. I started Monday Night Raw and they opened the show with a video package recapping the Elimination Chamber. And right after Bianca had won the Chamber in the recap video, they had played my reaction clip of me reacting to Bianca winning. And it was one of the most surreal moments in my entire life. I have been a fan of pro wrestling since 2011. So for reference, I was a itty bitty child. And so I've grown up with WWE. That has been one of my top favorite things in life. And, I've just grown up with the company truly and just been a big super fan my entire life. And so getting to now do content creation in the world of professional wrestling for the past 2 years now, and then getting to have one of my reaction videos be placed in a video package on Monday Night Raw. Mind you, it opened the show and it's on Netflix. I mean, it was the most insane, surreal feeling and experience truly ever in my life. I never thought one day that my video would be shown in a video package, let alone, again, like I said, Raw on Netflix. I mean, it was just the most insane thing. They did show other amazing reactors and creators, which of course I'm so happy for them. And but this was my first time ever being shown on a show and in front of millions of people across the globe. And it was just, not everyone's going to know who I am, which is fine. It's just, for me personally, it was just something so crazy and out of this world. And so I want to just quickly thank, this is not an acceptance speech, but I just want to thank you guys for always just loving my content and always supporting me and motivating me to keep going and pushing me to try new things and just be creative and create content that not only I enjoy making, but you guys enjoy watching, consuming. And so getting to a point where, WWE now knows who I am and put my video in their show, it's just absolutely insane. And obviously I wouldn't be here without your guys' support. So thank you again. And I promise to keep bringing so much fun wrestling content, especially with WrestleMania next month. I mean, there's so much in store. But with all that being said, it was the craziest thing. You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok because on there I have a video of me reacting to it. It was really fun. And it was just a special moment. And I'll literally never forget this day till the day I die. Anyways, but let's get into the show. So after that video package played, we had the opening segment, which was CM Punk, our king. Literally no better way to start off Monday Night Raw. And he came out for blood, okay? He was ready to go. He was going on a tangent on basically everybody, and it was insane. So he came out basically to address all of his enemies. That's what he said. He said that The Rock doesn't know who he's dealing with and that he's dealing with the best in the world, which of course we love that. He called The Rock out for being fake, and he basically was just truly going off on everybody and going off on The Rock. Then he went off on John Cena and he said that John stole something from him at the Elimination Chamber and now we can see right through him instead of, just not being able to see him. He said he wants them to get these hands, little Braun Strowman reference, I guess. After he started going off on, of course, his real number one enemy, Seth Rollins. And this is a direct quote from Punk. He said this and it left us all gagged. He said, "Becky, come get your husband before I do, and I permanently put him in a wheelchair." Oh, okay. So we're playing that game. So not that Becky's actually going to come back, for that reason. But, I just thought it was funny and made me cackle and gag. But of course, say his name in here, Piers, not Joe Hendry, Seth Rollins. So Seth Rollins interrupts, and Punk wasted no time to absolutely beat the crap out of Seth Rollins. I mean, they fought so intensely multiple times. They would get split up, and then they would find a way to get back to each other. And then it came to a point where they got into the crowd and it got really nasty. But you know what? We're officially embarking on what I hope and what has the potential to be one of the greatest storylines of this modern era. I mean, obviously the Bloodline is the trailblazer for GOATs of storylines. I mean, the Bloodline is something we'll be talking about till the end of time, but this has potential to be up there if they book it correctly. And so far we're off on a good start. And you know what? I don't know exactly how long-term this is going to be. I don't think it's short-term. There's no possible way. But I would assume that this would be a WrestleMania match. If not, then I don't know what they're going to do. They did announce that next week at Madison Square Garden, Monday Night Raw, I almost said Finn Balor. It's because I was looking at my notes. CM Punk and Seth Rollins will be in a steel cage match. And I think that's going to be so fun and interesting. But obviously it doesn't end there. My thing is like CM Punk always beats Seth Rollins. So I'm like, okay, is Seth going to finally win? But then it kind of makes Punk look weak. So I don't want him to lose. But I would really love Roman Reigns to come and interfere. And then we could really have that dream triple threat match at Mania, which is what I hope happens. So I'm very intrigued to see how that all plays out. Obviously a steel cage is the perfect match for them too. Literally cannot get out. So, well, actually, there's no roof. I'm thinking Hell in a Cell. Anyways, but it's definitely going to be so interesting, and I'm so sad. Okay, moving along into a backstage segment with the Judgment Day. So, of course, they're all talking about the Chamber. Liv's showing Dominic her Bianca hair whip scar on her, her stomach, I think. And then, of course, Finn gets in. He's being typical Finn, complaining, whatever. And then Dom is still pushing for that new member. And I feel like because they keep pushing it every week, I feel like we're going to eventually get one, which I'm excited for whoever that could be. I'm hoping it's Malachi Black, but we shall see, or Aleister Black. And then something that I wanted to mention that I've noticed has been there a couple weeks, but I really noticed it today because I feel like it was a little more obvious, is the fact that there was a Demon Finn Balor face picture in the background, more specifically where Finn was standing. It's a little Easter egg for obviously a little nod to Demon Balor, which if you watched wrestling in what I believe to be the peak, no, I'm kidding, right now is peak of wrestling, but for just nostalgia purposes for me, what was that, like late 2010s, Demon Balor was everything, and he had the best run. But I obviously don't think that Demon Balor is dead or over just yet. I would love to see him bring out Demon Finn Balor for his match against Braun Breaker, which it seems that that's what we're working towards since, they've been having this newfound beef. So, very intrigued to see that. And then, Finn said that he would take care of Braun. Let's go back out to the ring for a match. We have the WWE World Heavyweight Champion Gunther versus Otis of the Alpha Academy. This match low-key cooked. Okay, I can't even lie. This match low-key cooked. There were some pretty good moments. It was definitely an interesting, matchup, a pairing for this match. But, of course, in the end, our champion, Gunther, won. This was not a title defense, but he did win, so go off, obviously. Then Gunther attacked Otis and Tozawa after the match, and of course, what happens? The Yeet Master, Jey Uso, comes out for the save, obviously. What else were you expecting? Then Jey and Gunther go at it, and Jey finishes it off with a nasty spear. Okay, that was a phenomenal spear that he gave to Gunther. But then something I was kind of shocked about is A-Town Down Under. A Town Down Under returned to the main roster. They kind of been in NXT for a little bit, going back and forth. But they attacked Jey from behind. But of course, Jey being the Yeet Master, the king that he is, he was able to fight both of them off on his own. Go off, king. And then Gunther comes back from behind to attack Jey. And I'm like, bro, I thought you were down. But you know what? Because of this, wrestling psychology tells me that Jey's winning at WrestleMania. Do you want to know why? Because he can't always have the upper hand on Gunther. So they need to make it look like Gunther will retain so that Jey wins and it's a bigger shock. Because Gunther beat up Jey after that when he came back at the end. And it was really funny because the segment kind of ended with a very similar way as John Cena's, or the ending of Elimination Chamber when his foot was on Cody's head and he was raising the title high. That's exactly what Gunther did to Jey, and I thought it was hysterical. So, right now, they're making us believe that, okay, maybe Jey doesn't have a chance. Maybe it will be Gunther retaining at WrestleMania. But of course, the bigger shock is going to be Jey winning, and it's going to be a Yeet Mania for us all. All right, now for a title defense, we have the Women's Intercontinental Championship on the line. Lyra Valkyria defending against Ivy Nile. I do have to say both women are very athletically talented and honestly put on a great match. There were some pretty cool spots, and I think those two work really well together. But in the end, of course, Lyra Valkyria retained. This is a storyline that I hope that they continue to dive deeper in. I feel like they are shedding more light on the women's mid-card and like the mid-card division, and especially those titles as well. I feel like Lyra has been booked pretty well, and Chelsea hasn't been booked as great. She'll be on NXT tonight, actually. And so yeah, I'm pretty happy with what they're doing with Lyra. I would love to see her have a great Mania match, defend and retain possibly. I don't know what that would look like, but we still have 6 weeks till Mania, so I'm sure they could come up with something. Then Ludwig Kaiser comes out for a promo. He came out to say that the last week he took back the attention from Penta that Penta has stolen and that he's deserved for a long time. So he's basically out there complaining, saying that, Penta, ever since he arrived at the Raw Netflix debut, he's been taking all of the attention that he believes he deserves and that belongs to him. But of course, Penta being the king that he is, he deserves it. So you can't get mad that you're not that good. Hello? Mans was getting major heat. It was hysterical. He was being an uber heel, and it was great. He said that if Penta thinks there's unfinished business, then he's wrong. But of course, Penta comes out. They start going at it, and Penta was sending a message. He was sending a warning, if you will, to Ludwig Kaiser. And Penta is such an icon for this because he came out absolutely unbothered. He took his time with his entrance, and he was like, you know what? I'm going to beat the crap out of you. So, you know what? I also am really happy with pretty much all the mid-card divisions for the men and women. I think that they honestly have done a really great job, and this is the best job they've done in years. So, pretty happy about that. I really hope that Penta is on the WrestleMania card. We've got 2 nights in Vegas, so why not? I don't know what type of match it would be, but I really hope he's on the card because I think it would be amazing. The next match was another title defense. We had the WWE World Tag Team Championships on the line. The War Raiders defending against the Creed Brothers. Now, this was a pretty crazy match. Way better than I expected, to be honest. Both teams brought so much to the table. The War Raiders are truly so underrated, and I honestly didn't realize it until like a month and a half ago. It was so good. And the Creed Brothers too are getting so much better week in and week out, and they are very enjoyable to watch. But in the end, the War Raiders retained. Now let's head, this was like semi backstage, not really. It was like in and out. But Braun Breaker and Finn Balor had a segment. So Finn came out to the ring and said the only reason Braun is still champion is because the Judgment Day has let him. Then Braun responded and said that he's still champion because he's got that dog in him, which, woof woof. And then Finn said he's untouchable, referring to himself, and that he can take that championship whenever he wants, which if you wanted to, you would have. So I don't see that wrapped around your waist. Hello. Then Braun came down to the ring because he was like kind of in the crowd doing that little segment with Jackie Redmond. So he came down to the ring to fight, but then all the members of Judgment Day started to attack Braun one by one. But of course, he dominated them, and fought them off on his own. Then he got into the ring and him and Finn went at it. So again, like I mentioned earlier, I really hope this is a storyline that they continue to explore because it's fire. I honestly, oh my God, I just thought about this. Like that's probably going to be the Mania match, right? Finn Balor versus Braun Breaker. And you can make it a whole big deal too. Like Demon Finn Balor versus Braun Breaker. He got that dog in him. Demon versus dog. I don't know what you want to call it, but I think it would be fire. I don't know. I just kind of thought about that. And I was like, okay, that would cook. But let's head into the main event. We had another title defense. We had quite a few title defenses on Monday Night Raw last night. I just realized I think we had 3. So the WWE Women's World Championship was on the line. Rhea Ripley defending against Io Sky. So quick note, Bianca Belair did come out to sit ringside during the match, but that doesn't really play a factor until the end. So honestly, it was a fantastic match. I mean, both of these women are obviously so talented. They're at the top of the division, and it was a classic battle between power and speed, David and Goliath, if you will. So Rhea Ripley gets out of the ring towards the middle end of the match, and she yells at Bianca, "You don't want to face me at Mania," kind of asking her a question. Then she proceeds to push Bianca multiple times until they got separated, and honestly, that should have been a DQ on its own, right? Last time I checked the rule book, that was a disqualification. Bianca technically interfered because Bianca like pushed her back and everything. And I don't know why that wasn't called. I mean, yeah, I don't get why that was called. But because of that, because Rhea took her eyes off the ball, the unthinkable happened. The unpredictable happened. Io Sky won and is now the new WWE Women's World Champion. I am at a loss for words. I am baffled. This is top 10 worst days of my life, actually. Whose asinine decision was this backstage? Who thought in their head, this was a good idea? Please, come forward. Show your face. Show yourself. I would love to know because I'm just like, the payoff better be astronomical. Because, I mean, I'm speechless. This is insane. How do you take the title off of your top woman? A woman who is literally rated 96 in the freaking video game. The video game even knows she's the best, okay? She's like, I believe, top 5 of like overall ranked, like best in the freaking video game. And that just, they rated off of like actual experience and like who they actually are in the ring and everything. And so like the fact that that's your top woman and you just took it off on a Monday Night Raw. And I saw a video on Instagram that like honestly does make sense in the sense of like, you can't always have big title changes at PLEs. You have to continue to do them on a Raw or SmackDown. Like, for example, Jey Uso won the freaking Intercontinental Championship on a SmackDown, or you know what I mean? Just like certain things like that. And so what pisses me off though is that Rhea was only champion for it was either 40 something or 50 something days. I mean, she won it back at Raw Netflix debut, and now she doesn't have it anymore because Io Sky has it. And this pisses me off so much. I mean, what does this mean for Rhea now? I've heard people be like, oh, does she turn heel? I don't think she turns heel. I mean, we've already been there, done that. The fans don't like it because the fans love her, and we are not aiming for that anytime soon. She cut if you guys go to X, I don't think it was posted on Instagram or TikTok, but on X, WWE posted a video of Rhea Ripley backstage talking to Jackie Rudman. She cut a really good, like, 4-minute promo, and it was giving, like, uber babyface. But, I mean, will this become a triple threat? That definitely could happen. Does Rhea insert herself into this? Does she win it back at Mania? Does Bianca win it at Mania? Does Io retain it? I don't know. I feel like there's a world where Rhea can regain it at WrestleMania, but I don't know. And then also, how does Jade Cargill play a factor into this? How does Naomi play a factor into this? There's so many intertwining storylines within this title picture that makes it so foggy and so hard to predict what can happen. And honestly, like as a fan, like I love that. I love that I can't predict what's going to happen. I love how I'm clueless as to what they're going to do. There's 17 avenues they can take, and they're probably going to take the 18th one that I didn't see coming. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I don't know what's going to happen. And I'm so excited. I mean, we have 6 weeks till WrestleMania, and it's just, I mean, it's shaping up to be an incredible show so far. I think we have a couple matches announced already, and I'm just through the roof excited. But I'm so intrigued to see how this storyline will not only be one of the biggest ones heading into the weekend, but how is it going to pan out? Who's walking out of Mania champion? Will Io retain? Is she going to be the new top girl again? I don't know. There's a lot of questions. There's a lot of unknown, and I'm very intrigued, to see it all unfold. We did find out that this Friday night, on Friday Night SmackDown, Jade Cargill and Randy Orton, that's kind of irrelevant to what we're talking about, but they will make their return to SmackDown on Friday. So we're going to get to hear what Jade has to say. We're going to get to see what Bianca has to say. I don't know if she'll say anything. I'm sure she's going to come out. She said that she still has to talk to to Naomi and Jay. She hasn't talked to them yet. So I would hope that happens on SmackDown in the ring, a whole segment, if you will. I don't know. I still think that Bianca is the attacker. I don't think she's cleared just yet. I don't think it was Naomi at all. I don't think she had a part in this at all. I think that she took a bullet for Bianca. And so I don't know. There's a lot of unknown, and I'm very excited to see where this goes from here, but it's only a matter of time before we find out the full truth and what's actually going to happen. And then also, like, do they take Jade and Bianca further than WrestleMania, which I obviously think is going to happen. I am very biased. I want the match between Jade and Bianca to happen at SummerSlam because that's the next biggest PLE after WrestleMania. Because you have Backlash and Money in the Bank and Clash at the Castle and stuff like that. But, like, come on, guys. I want it to be at SummerSlam. This year's SummerSlam, I haven't showed up about it, but this year's SummerSlam is the first ever 2-night SummerSlam, which is a big deal. This is huge for WWE. And it takes place at my home stadium of MetLife. So yes, you guys know I live in Orlando, and you're probably like, what the freak? What do you mean? That's in New Jersey. Yes, I'm aware, but I am a diehard New York Giants fan. If you are watching the video version, you can see right here, I have some Giants decor. And so that is like my home stadium, obviously. And so, getting to watch, hopefully, I'm planning on going. I will let you guys know if I end up for sure going. I'm trying my best. Tickets haven't gone on sale yet, but when they do, you guys are coming along with me. But being able to see my first SummerSlam, the first 2-night SummerSlam history, literally, in the home stadium of my favorite football team will be the most euphoric experience of my life. And so, I really hope it does happen. But if not, then, we'll be from home watching it together, and it'll still be just as great. That's a lie, but you know what? It'll be great. Whatever happens. It's okay. But I will keep you guys updated on that. I've been rambling for too long. Let's head into my overall thoughts. So it was a pretty good show. My match of the night definitely was Rhea versus Io, even though I hated the outcome of the match. It was, not the greatest outcome, but you know what? It's fine. There were so many great moments and spots that definitely made it super enjoyable, even though, again, the ending was very sucky. My segment of the night obviously was Punk and Rollins. I mean, they are truly building the storyline up to be one of the biggest heading into Mania weekend, and I am so ready for it. Overall, I probably rate the show a solid 7.5 out of 10. Besides those two things and the Finn Balor segment, I mean, it was a mediocre show. Actually, it was a little better than mediocre, but it wasn't like anything out of this world. I think SmackDown will definitely be better this week, and I'm very much looking forward to it. But don't forget that tonight there is NXT on the CW at 8 p.m. Eastern, so you got to catch it. Of course, I will do my recap tomorrow, and then I will see you guys on Friday Saturday for our SmackDown recap. But until then, thank you guys so much for watching and listening to this episode of Champion the Passion. Don't forget to leave a 5-star review if you enjoyed. Follow me at It's Victoria Daisy across all social platforms, and follow Champion the Passion across all streaming platforms. Don't forget to champion your passions and celebrate the joy in what you love. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye!